The coin market cap sums up everything that is talked about in this video. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to my station to get more XRP news and news about cryptocurrencies in general. Look at this now. The Ripple XRP CLO shows that sexist behavior is illegal, and the judge confirms this. The Securities and Exchange Commission has lost another court case in its ongoing legal battle with the National Association of Manufacturers, as the Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit ruled against it. The Securities and Exchange Commission tried to put off a rule that was supposed to affect proxy advice businesses in 2020, while Gary Gensler was in charge. That being said, the court thought this was against the government rule. As of recently, Gary Gensler was named chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission. He has fought many lawsuits against private companies and won some but lost others. In recent months, on the other hand, he has been losing one thing after another, and many of them have been public. The tide keeps turning against him. He was trying to get rid of a rule that would have let the SEC regulate proxy advice companies in 2020, but the most recent loss has made that impossible. In July 2020, the Securities and Exchange Commission, which was run by former head Jay Clayton, added proxy consulting firms to its list of companies it was in charge of. This was the start of everything. These companies not only help shareholders vote, but they also help shareholders find out more about board ideas. Because of this, they are an important part of the capital market, because they change the path that every public company decides to take. Of course, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) thought it was important to keep an eye on these companies to stop them from being manipulated. And in the year 2020, it was given the power to police these businesses by the central government. Then Gensler showed up. As soon as he took office, he told his staff to think again about the 2020 rule and started working to get it thrown out totally. There were then legal battles, and the National Association of Manufacturers led the way in order to keep the Securities and Exchange Commission from giving up control of the field. Since then, NAM and the SEC have been in a very heated court battle that has gone all the way to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in the United States. Gensler lost another high-profile case this week when a judge in New Orleans made a decision that went against the sexist stance. Another court says the sexist is wrong for breaking the Administrative Procedure Act by getting rid of a rule that businesses that give proxy advice were supposed to follow in a way that is against the Constitution. Gensler ordered this illegal move to be done. After the ruling, Linda Kelly, who is the top legal officer of the National Association of Manufacturers (NAM), said the following: "This ruling makes it clear that federal agencies must follow the law, even when the government changes hands. Manufacturing businesses depend on the Securities and Exchange Commission to keep an eye on America's world-class capital market and make sure it stays safe." The SEC, on the other hand, has broken this promise. The virus in the like giving up the compromised 2020 rule for proxy advice firms, which was a good rule. Gensler Securities and Exchange Commission's bad luck keeps coming back. For Gensler, this is not the first time they've lost because of the proxy rule. The U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia said that his attempt to get rid of the rule was against the law and went beyond what the law allowed. They did this by changing the proxy rules to include marketing and proxy voting advice for a fee. This took place in February of this year. Gensler has also lost money in the world of Bitcoin. A number of high-profile cases have gone against him, and he has had to tone down the strong tactics he used in other cases. Crypto News Flash says that he chose not to go to court against in a case that could have ended up being about the important question of whether or not ETH is a security. This choice was made not long ago. The most important case, though, is by far Gensler's claim against Ripple over whether or not XRP is a security. Crypto News Flash says that he had to change his goals and drop the cases against CEO Brad Garlinghouse and creator Chris Larsson because he lost a number of important fights along the way. This is true, even though he has been successful in this effort. As the end of the Ripple lawsuit gets near, more and more people think that the Securities and Exchange Commission will lose its biggest case to date. Gensler seems to be aware of the disaster that is about to happen, and he has been slowly lowering his hopes for the situation. Since then, his original request for $2 billion from Ripple has been greatly lowered to around $100 million. At first, he asked Ripple for $2 billion. Ripple has even suggested a maximum fine of $10 million. If this were to happen, it would be a huge win for the blockchain payments business. The Ripple case could be a turning point in Gensler's life that will affect the rest of his career. Some lawmakers have already spoken out against him, and people who work in the business world say that some high-level officials in Vice President Joe Biden's office see him as a problem in this important election year. On the other hand, the XRP group has stood the test of time. Even though it hasn't been able to hit the heights of this year's bull market, XRP is still one of the biggest projects in its field. People told Gary Gensler he was crazy when he said that well-known people from a few years ago in the cryptocurrency business are either in jail or on death row, on their way to jail, or while they wait to be extradited. This is what Garlinghouse said. It was a bit hypocritical for someone who hadn't done anything to stop FTX before it went bankrupt in a big way. The businessman said that this was slander, and he then sent out a warning about how the Bitcoin industry is becoming more hostile toward the White House and the Securities and Exchange Commission. Because of what Gensler did, Biden will lose the race. Hi, my name is Brad Garlinghouse. Alderati has questioned Gensler's claims that the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) changes things when court decisions don't go its way. He says that the SEC has gone beyond its power. Are you against that? The courts aren't making changes. In fact, they are saying that you are breaking the law because you are going beyond what the law allows you to do. It's clear that Ripple Labs won't give up easily. Furthermore, it looks like the company will make a lot of noise as the very important election in November gets closer. The important decision that Judge Torres made about Ripple's XRP has been upheld by Judge Amy Berman Jackson. This is a win for the cryptocurrency business. In a happy turn of events, the recent verdict in the case between Binance Limited and the Securities and Exchange Commission supported Judge Torres' view that XRP is not a security and that programmatic and secondary sales of XRP do not meet the criteria for investment contracts according to the Howey test. This was the moment that everyone had been waiting for. The decision that Judge Torres made in the Ripple case was praised by District Judge Amy Berman Jackson. In particular, she liked how Judge Torres said that XRP's programmatic sales and secondary sales were not stocks. With this deal, Ripple and the cryptocurrency business as a whole have won a big battle. Judge Jackson's decision sets a standard for high-profile cryptocurrency lawsuits, which could have effects on cases that are still being looked into.